welcome to Reedy River Goods. Glad you found my channel or my video, whatever you found. Glad you found it. If you are like me, I was looking around when I first started leatherwork at kind of a one-stop shop where I could go learn a little bit, learn some different angles, learn some things I wasn't thinking about, and so it's essentially what I'm trying to create. I couldn't find it, so I had to do a lot of trial by fire. I think that's the expression. But anyway, I wanted to put together just basically selling things online and give you my 5 top mistakes that I made that I wish I wouldn't have in selling things online. And hopefully it can save you some money, some time, some effort, whatever. But this is something that I still today come up with, and my number one is what I just thought of the other day, and it was a bit soul crushing, but here we go. We're gonna get into the top 5 things, mistakes that I have made in selling things online. So number 5, this is something that has started out since day one. It could just be my ADD, but who knows? When I first started working, and the first project I made, my mind's going to the second project, to the third project. Oh, what else could I do? I could do this, I could do that. I bought more supplies in that first probably 90 days than I bought since. And I still have stuff laying around. I got more buckles and keychains and all kind of stuff in this cabinet over here. And either some of the leather I bought for some projects that were, I didn't even have them planned. I was just like, oh, I could do this with that leather, so I'll buy it. So that's one thing. Again, I still have stuff from 5-6 years ago that's sitting in here that I'm still trying to work through. So this year I'm trying to work through those supplies so I can kind of start back over and refresh what I need to do. I really didn't have a plan for them. I thought I did. And so I thought it would be a great idea to just buy ahead. And then before you know it, you got stuff laying around and you're buried in your knees with projects that you can't even get to. I didn't even know how to do half of them at that time. I was just figuring I would learn, and I eventually did, but I still haven't gotten to all the projects that I want to do. And I overbought so much. It's embarrassing. So, but I am spending my time this year to get back on track. So number 4, I started selling things on Etsy, and it's cool when you start to sell a few things. It's like, oh, this is great. But you also have to take care and curate your Etsy shop. And so I'm a one-man show. So I'm a maker. I want to just make stuff. I don't necessarily want to do much with anything. Funny enough, I'm recording myself right now. But as far as the technology side of things and now you got to think about pictures. You got to think about your listings, your descriptions, your tags, all these things that go into a listing that when you're first starting, you're like, oh, I have an item, I'm going to sell it. This is easy. But those things are super important, and where your listing is going to fall, how popular your thing's going to be, how people are going to find it, how people are going to look at it, what's going to separate you from the other million people that are selling the same thing you are. And so that's something I really didn't realize. I started out with very few. I think I only had 10 listings to begin, and that was easy. So I spent a month to get that thing prepared, and finally I opened it up and it was 10. I thought I'd made it. So I had 10 listings. I'm working on like 60 or 70 at this time. But yeah, I had 10 listings, which is great. But if you want to grow and you want it to progress a little bit, you're going to have to spend some time. And again, this is something this year. This is going to be my year. I'm telling you, I don't know. This is going to be my year. So I've spent time actually. There was probably a 4-year stretch where I didn't touch my listings. And then I realized I haven't offered my customers something new in the past 4 or 5 years. So it's the same listings. I relist it, sell it, relist it. I haven't offered anything new. And that's embarrassing. And I apologize. I'm going to try to get better. I'm going to offer some new items this year. They're coming up. So stay tuned. But think about that. You're going to have to curate these things. And so if you are like me and just want to make stuff, there's also you're either going to have to find somebody else to do it, or you're going to have to find a new hobby and learn how to do it. So that was number 4. So number 3, this is a tricky one. And you can go on Etsy and type in anything right now and find it. And be like, oh man, people are selling. Let's take sunglasses case. People are selling sunglasses cases for $79. That thing will take me 25 minutes to make. It'll be so easy. This is great. So I'm going to go start making this thing. What you got to realize is a couple things. One, there's a reason they're able to sell that thing for $79. They may have 1,000 customers. They may have 1,000 reviews. They may have been doing this for years. One thing I've come across is there's shops that just sell that one item. And guess what? They do it really well. So don't think you're going to get to your shop and add one. This happened to me, again, early on, and I learned from it. But I made my first tote bag. And this thing was dope. This thing was nice. Clean lines. It looked beautiful. Super nice leather. I had one tote bag listed on my website, on my Etsy shop. And come to find out, I started doing some research. I'm trying to figure out how to price it. I was like, oh, this bag, man, I see people selling bags for a couple $100. This is going to be easy. I found another Etsy shop. That's all they sold was tote bags. And they had 15 different kinds of leathers, 15 different colors of stitching. They had monogramming. They had everything you could have thought of. Changing the size of the length of the strap and all these things. And so essentially I was trying to sell one item against somebody who that's all they sell, right? So I'm trying to offer it into my shop. I only had one of them. So the chances of me selling that one measly bag compared to someone that can go and they can have 100 things customized to them. The bag did sell, took some time though. So just keep that in mind. It's going to take some time if you have one. It may still be a nice bag. I don't want to put down your work or anything like that. And it did sell, but it took some time. But just know that there's single shops that sell that one item, and they probably do it pretty well. So don't try to do, or even in the fact of pricing. No, they're selling it for that much, so I can sell it for that much. Because the chances are, if that's your one that you got in your shop, or you don't have much in the way of variation towards that, it might be a little bit more difficult for you to get that done. And again, I learned that. And after I sold about maybe 3 or 4 tote bags, I haven't listed another one since. Etsy is great. And there's some other online places you can sell. Etsy I found to be the cheapest. It has gone up quite a bit for listing fees and things like that in the most recent years. But as far, they're still the most reasonable. I was looking to get onto Amazon Handmade and all that, and they're trying to take 15-18%. You can get out of here with that. So, but as far as competition, it's great to find all those customers. That's awesome. You're not going to find those customers anywhere else, that amount of people to look at your stuff. The problem is there's so many of people that are, like I just said, they're either selling that one item, probably a whole lot better, and there's probably shops that sell each one of your items in your shop all that better. So there's just, with all the views and the things that you get, you're also adding quite a bit of competition. Number 2, it's a little bit trickier. So in an attempt to offer more products, to offer more variation, a lot of what I make is made to order, and that gets a little bit tricky. So I need to get to where I'm able to replicate things more easily, and you have to buy what's available, right? I don't mind doing it, but what I found out is early on, I was just hoping to make a sale. So I was going to do anything I could to make that sale. If it's brown stitch and you want black stitch, well, guess what? I'll make another one and we'll do black. If it's whatever, add. My number 1 selling item, which became very tricky, was watch bands or watch straps. And so people got different size wrists, so you got to make different size lengths. People got different size width on their watches. And so now you got to make, and you got to be able to adjust from 16 to 24 millimeters and everything in between. So now you got to have buckles that fit each one of those, and you got to have listings to fit those. And so now you got width and length, and that so I can't make, I just can't make a handful of things and have them there. If I wanted to make 10 of each, I guess I could do that, but that would be a lot of work if also I'm offering different color stitches and things of that nature. So I do everything by hand, so I have to make sure I can replicate quicker and more efficiently, which I haven't been able to do. But that's just something I ran into, and now I'm trying to figure out how I can get some things made and offer some items that I can make, have them set aside, so when it's bought, I can just send it out the door, and I don't have to spend time. Again, now number one seller I have is watch bands, so I'm constantly churning these out, so I'm having to make them every night, every other night, and it gets in the way of me doing, learning new projects or doing bigger projects that I could potentially sell, or something that I can replicate, easier. If in one day I get to where I'm able to just stamp some things out and run it through, then I'll be good. But again, doing it by hand, I'm a one-man show. I gotta think that through. And hey, let me offer some things that I can turn over quickly, and also that I can replicate fairly easily, to where I'm able to offer enough things so people will buy them, but also not offer too much to where there's too many variations and there's just too many combinations of sizes and widths and lengths and things like that, to kind of put more work on me or you when you are selling items online. To my number one mistake, and this one I kind of found out most recently, and it really hurt. Etsy is always, and this goes for any of the online places you can sell, they're always the number one. Your brand is always going to be behind that. When people ask, let's say you're wearing whatever, you pull out a wallet and that joker is clean, and someone's like, oh my God, where'd you get that wallet? What are they going to say? They're going to say, oh, I got it on Etsy. So your shop didn't even come up. That wasn't even a thought. It was Etsy sold it. That's where I got it from, Etsy. So now that person's gonna type in a wallet on Etsy, and 4 bajillion listings are gonna come up for a wallet. So now they got their choice, right? So you're always gonna be number 2. And here's what I found out most recently, which drove me crazy. I even minimized my own business for Etsy. So, hey, oh man, I heard you work with leather. You do this or that. Yeah, I got a little Etsy shop. I don't even mention my own. Anyway, that one hurt me. That one hit me right in the chest when I realized I minimized my own thing. So I'm putting myself second on top of them. So again, this year, I'm gonna change some things. I'm gonna work my way. I'm gonna try to get on my own thing, get my own website, whatever it's gonna be, however it turns out. I don't know. I'm excited to find out. But that one hurt. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even think about it. I've been on there for 5 or 6 years now, and when I said it out loud and I caught myself saying it, I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. I said, I've made too many mistakes to be where I am at this point, and I've got to change things. So that one stung, and that's why it's my number one. I appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully you learned something from me. If you got any questions, let me know. Please subscribe, like. I'm trying to build this thing up. It's going pretty well lately, and I'm enjoying it. So I appreciate your time and appreciate you stopping by.